Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. You don't grow by saying yes to everything. You grow by saying a no to the things that insult your purpose, to the people who drain your energy, to the habits that rob you of your greatness. Saying a no is not selfish. It's a statement of self-respect. You don't owe anyone your time. You don't owe everyone an explanation. But you owe yourself the life you were meant to live. Some people will try to guilt you. Some people will push your boundaries. But here's the truth. They're only doing what you allow. If you want to build a life of clarity, peace, and purpose, then you must protect your priorities. You must guard your time like treasure, because it is. And when you say a no, you're not shutting the world out. You're clearing the path for the right things to walk in. Every no to distraction is a yes out of focus. Every no to toxicity is a yes out of peace. Every no to pleasing others is a yes out of honoring yourself. So don't be afraid to draw the line. Don't be afraid to walk away from what doesn't align. Don't be afraid to be misunderstood. Because people who truly value you won't demand that you betray yourself to keep their approval. The more you respect yourself, the less nonsense you tolerate, and the more power you reclaim. So starting today, respect yourself enough to say no. Growth often comes from saying no, not always yes. We're conditioned to believe that opportunity is hidden in every yes. That saying yes makes us open-minded, that it makes us generous, cooperative, and kind. But what if true growth, real progress, comes from the courage to say a no? No to distractions, no to unnecessary obligations, no to people who don't respect your boundaries, no to the noise that pulls you away from your path. Every time you say a no to something that doesn't align with your vision, you say yes to something far more powerful. Your clarity, your focus, your self-respect. Saying yes might feel easier in the moment. It avoids conflict. It pleases people. But it often comes at the cost of your peace, your priorities, your purpose. Growth demands discipline, and discipline requires decisions that are uncomfortable. It requires moments where you choose your future over your feelings, your mission over someone else's expectations. If you always say yes to everyone else, you'll eventually say a no to yourself, and that's a price too high to pay. Real growth isn't just about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about filtering your time, energy, and effort through the lens of purpose. It's about having the wisdom to know what deserves your attention and the strength to walk away from what doesn't. Your future is shaped by the things you refuse to tolerate. Your time is protected by the boundaries you're willing to enforce. And your growth is accelerated by every no that honors your values. Don't confuse busyness with growth. Don't mistake approval for alignment. Every no that protects your purpose is a step forward, so be bold enough to say it. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if they don't understand. Even if you stand alone, because the strongest version of you doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from respecting yourself enough to choose what truly matters. Saying no is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. But many people have it backwards. They think that if you say no, you're cold inside, that you're distant, that you don't care. But the truth is, when you say no, you're drawing a line that protects your energy, your time, your peace. You're not rejecting the person. You're rejecting the drain on your purpose. You're not being rude. You're being real. Because you know your limits. You know what you're capable of. And you know what happens when you give too much to the wrong things. You lose focus. You lose momentum. And eventually you lose yourself. Saying yes to everything might win short-term approval. But it often leads to long-term resentment. Resentment toward others. And even worse, resentment toward yourself. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you betray your own needs, you quiet your own voice, and you start to shrink to fit into someone else's expectations. But growth doesn't happen in the space of people-pleasing. Growth happens in the space of boundaries, of intention, of self-respect. There's power in knowing when to walk away. There's strength in knowing when to say, this doesn't serve me. This doesn't align with who I'm becoming. And you don't owe anyone an apology for choosing yourself. You don't owe them guilt for protecting your mental health. You're not selfish for choosing peace. You're not wrong for valuing your well-being. Because when you respect yourself enough to say no, you create room for the right things to enter. You stop watering dead plants and you start investing in what brings you life. You become clear. You become focused. And most importantly, you become free. It's us. Free from pressure. Free from pretending. Free to live a life that honors who you are, not just what people want you to be. You are not obligated to please everyone at your own expense. You don't exist to meet everyone's expectations. You don't exist to keep everyone comfortable. You're not here to carry the weight of other people's opinions on your back. Because when you try to make everyone happy, you slowly lose sight of who you are. You bend, you shrink, you compromise your values, your time, your peace. And what do you get in return? Temporary approval. Surface level praise, but deep inside there's frustration, there's exhaustion, there's the quiet ache of self-neglect. You give and give until there's nothing left for you. But you are not a machine. You are not a rescue team for every emotional fire. You are a person with needs, with dreams, with a limited amount of energy. And when you keep pouring into everyone else without ever refilling your own cup, you burn out, you fade out, you disappear behind the smile you wear to keep the peace. Pleasing everyone is a race you'll never win, because the target always moves. The demands never stop. And no matter how much you give, it will never be enough for those who don't value boundaries. You were not born to be exhausted by obligation. You were born to live with purpose, to walk with strength, to protect what matters most to you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to disappoint people who expect too much. It's okay to let them feel what they need to feel. That's their emotion to manage, not your burden to carry. The more you try to keep everyone happy, the further you drift from your own happiness. But when you stop apologizing for choosing yourself, you start finding peace. You start discovering who you really are beneath all the pressure. You don't have to explain your boundaries. You don't have to justify your rest. You only have to remember one thing: your well-being matters too. Guard your time like it's gold. It is limited and precious. Time is the one thing you can never get back. Once it's spent, it's gone forever. You can earn more money. You can rebuild your energy, but you will never add another hour to your life. So why treat it like it's endless? Why give it away so easily to things that don't matter? To people who don't value it? To distractions that drain it? To habits that waste it? Your time is your life. How you spend it is how your life will turn out. And every minute you give away without intention is a piece of your future you're handing over. There will always be demands. There will always be people pulling at you. But you have to ask yourself, does this deserve my time? Does this help me grow? Does this honor my priorities? If not, it's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your schedule. It's okay to block off space for your own development, for your peace, for your goals. You don't owe your time to everyone. You owe it to your purpose, to the future version of you that's counting on your focus today. Be mindful of how you use it. Don't scroll it away. Don't gossip it away. Don't lose it in things that won't matter a year from now. When you guard your time, you sharpen your focus, you reduce your stress, and you start seeing real progress, not just motion, but momentum. People might not understand. They may call you distant, too busy, too focused, but they don't see what you see. They don't feel the fire you feel inside. They're not building what you're building. Time is your greatest currency, and every minute is a choice. So spend it where it counts. Invest it in what builds you. Protect it like treasure. Because it is that people will only cross the boundaries you fail to set. The world will treat you the way you allow it to. If you don't draw the line, someone else will decide where it should be. And more often than not, they'll put it far past your comfort, far beyond your peace. People are not mind readers. They won't know your limits unless you make them clear. They won't know when you're hurting, when you're exhausted, when you're stretched too thin, unless you speak up. Silence is not strength when it comes to boundaries. It's permission. And every time you stay silent to avoid conflict, you quietly agree to be disrespected. Setting boundaries is not about building walls. It's about choosing what gets in and what must stay out. It's not about being cold. It's about being clear. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you allow them to interrupt your peace, they will. If you let them take advantage of your time, they will. If you continue to say yes when everything inside you is screaming no, they will keep asking. But the moment you say, this is where it ends, the moment you say, that's not okay with me, something powerful happens. You take back control. Boundaries are not selfish. They're necessary. They're the standards that protect your values, your energy, your future. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They may not like them, but they will honor them. And the ones who don't, Let them walk away. Because keeping someone in your life should never require you to lose yourself. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be compassionate and still have limits. You can be generous without being a doormat. Your life is too valuable to spend it constantly over-explaining, over-giving, over-apologizing. Start showing up for yourself. Start honoring your space. Because when you set clear boundaries, you don't push people away. You filter out what doesn't belong. Every no creates space for the right yes. It may not feel like it in the moment. Saying no can feel like you're shutting a door, like you're missing out, like you're letting someone down. But in truth, you're doing something far more powerful. You're making room. Room for what truly matters. Room for what aligns with your purpose. Room for what moves you forward instead of holding you back. Because every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to something that could. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. And you can't give your best to everything. You have to choose where your yes goes. Not everything deserves a place in your schedule. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every invitation is worth your time. And not every relationship is meant to stay. Saying no is not rejection. It's redirection. It's clearing the clutter so the right things can find you. It's refusing the noise so the signal comes through. It's letting go of the good to make room for the great. People will try to convince you otherwise. They'll say you're being too selective, too cautious, too distant, but they don't see the bigger picture you're protecting. They don't feel the cost of all your wasted yeses. You don't need to explain your no. You just need to trust that your future is shaped by what you allow into your life. And when you start saying no to what drains you, you start saying yes to what grows you. You say yes to your peace, yes to your priorities, yes to your values. Yes to the version of you that's waiting on the other side of discipline. It's not about being closed off. It's about being intentional. It's about making decisions that match your direction. Because you weren't meant to carry everything. You were meant to carry what counts. So the next time you hesitate, the next time you feel pressured to say yes, ask yourself this: does this make space for the life I truly want? And if the answer is no, then don't be afraid to say it. Peace and purpose begin with protecting your energy. You can't live with intention if you're constantly exhausted. You can't chase your goals if you're drained by distractions. You can't build a meaningful life when your energy is being poured into people and problems that don't belong to you. Your energy is sacred. Yeah. It's the fuel behind your focus, your passion, your clarity. And when you give it away without thought, you lose your center. There's a cost to overextending. There's a cost to saying yes when you mean no. There's a cost to being available to everyone, all the time, for everything. It might not show up right away, but over time, the stress builds, the burnout creeps in, the frustration grows louder, and one day you wake up wondering how you got so far off track. It didn't happen in one moment. It happened little by little, every time you gave a piece of your energy to something that didn't deserve it. But the good news is, you can take it back. You can draw the line. You can decide what gets your attention and what doesn't. You can choose to protect your energy like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Your peace is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Your purpose is not a side note. It's the reason you're here. You don't need to explain why you're unavailable for drama, for chaos, for low vibration conversations that leave you empty. You simply need to rise above them. You weren't meant to live in constant reaction. You were meant to live with direction. And that direction becomes clear when your energy is clear, when your environment supports your growth, when your time and space are aligned with who you're becoming. So slow down, check in with yourself, notice where your energy is going, and start making the decision to protect it. Not just sometimes, but daily. Because peace and purpose don't arrive by accident. They are built moment by moment. By choosing what you allow into your mind, your space, and your heart. Saying a no can be a way of saying yes to your goals and values. It may not always feel like it in the moment. Sometimes saying no is uncomfortable. It can feel like rejection. It can feel like you're letting someone down. But deep down, it's a commitment to something greater. Because every time you say no to something that distracts you, you're saying yes to something that defines you. You're saying yes to your priorities, yes to your vision, yes to the life you're trying to build. There will always be things pulling you in every direction, opportunities that sound good but don't align, People who mean well, but don't understand your mission. Your mission. Moments that feel urgent but aren't truly important. And in those moments, your no becomes your compass. It becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded in who you are and where you're going. You can't chase every invitation and still walk a straight path toward your dreams. You can't say yes to everything and still have energy left for what really matters. Your time is limited. Your energy is precious. Your focus is powerful, but only if you protect it. Saying no doesn't make you unkind. It makes you clear. It means you've taken the time to decide what matters most. And now you're bold enough to defend it. When you say no to what's easy, you say yes to what's meaningful. When you say no to what's comfortable, you say yes to growth. When you say no to what pleases others, you say yes to what fulfills you. It's not always loud. It's not always dramatic. Always dramatic. But every quiet no is a silent declaration. I have a purpose. I have a plan. And I refuse to trade it for temporary approval. So start treating your no as a gift, not just for others, but for yourself. Because each time you use it with intention, you carve out space for a life that truly reflects your deepest goals and your highest values. Being respected starts with respecting yourself first. You teach the world how to treat you by how you treat yourself. People respond to the energy you carry, to the standards you hold, to the way you speak about yourself when no one's watching. If you constantly downplay your worth, others will too. If you tolerate disrespect, others will assume it's acceptable. If you keep putting yourself last, you invite others to do the same. But when you respect yourself, you walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You make decisions that align with your values. And without even trying, you begin to command a different level of respect from others. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about knowing your value and refusing to compromise it for convenience, for attention, or for temporary approval. You don't need to beg people to see your worth. You need to see it for yourself. And once you do, everything starts to change. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop apologizing for needing space, peace, or time alone. You realize that not everyone deserves access to you. Not every situation requires your presence. And not every opinion deserves your reaction. When you respect yourself, you start investing your energy where it matters. You surround yourself with people who lift you, not drain you. You protect your time. You guard your focus. You rise above drama and distractions. Respect is not demanded. It's reflected. It mirrors how you carry yourself, how you speak your truth, how you handle challenges without losing your integrity. And the beautiful thing is, once you raise your standard, the wrong people will fall away, but the right ones will step forward. The ones who recognize your strength, who honor your space, who support your growth. So the next time you wonder why someone isn't treating you right, don't just look at them. Look within and ask yourself, am I respecting me? Because when you start showing up for yourself with strength, with clarity, with self-respect, you'll never have to ask for it from anyone else. The more you say no to what doesn't serve you, the more powerful you become. Power isn't just about control. It's about clarity. It's about knowing who you are and having the courage to act in alignment with that truth. You don't become powerful by doing more. You become powerful by doing what matters. And that requires saying no, again and again, to everything that pulls you away from your purpose. There are distractions everywhere, demands, deadlines, people who want your time but don't value it, opportunities that look shiny but lead nowhere. And if you say yes to all of it, you lose yourself in the noise. You lose your energy, your momentum, your direction. But every time you say no to what drains you, you take that power back. Every time you say no to what distracts you, you sharpen your focus. Every time you say no to what pulls you down, you rise. Power comes from discipline, from saying, I know what I want, and this isn't it. It takes strength to say no, especially when it's easier to go along, especially when people expect you to say yes. But growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the hard choices, the brave moments, the uncomfortable decisions that protect your vision. No to drama. No to toxic people. No to self-doubt. No to habits that keep you stuck. Each one of those choices fuels your power, and it doesn't happen all at once. It happens daily, one choice at a time, one moment of courage at a time. When you start saying no with purpose, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You become someone who isn't swayed by pressure, someone who stands firm, someone who knows their worth and refuses to trade it for approval. So don't fear the no. Use it. Stand behind it. Let it protect what matters, because every no to what doesn't serve you is a yes to the life you're meant to live. And there is nothing more powerful than that. So let today be the day you reclaim your power, not by doing more, not by pleasing everyone, but by standing firm in who you are and what you're here to do. Say no when it doesn't serve your growth. Say no when it costs your peace. Say no when it pulls you away from your purpose. Because every no you speak with courage is a silent promise to yourself that your life matters, your energy matters, and your future is worth protecting. Respect yourself enough to say no, and watch how your world begins to change.